Chef.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. You guys just tuned in to Specialty Chef Marty Unfolded with your host, Specialty Chef Marty. And I'm here in this beautiful studio called the Dungeness. I think that's what I said. I think I said it right.
It's the dungeon. It's the dungeon. It's Realmsy's dungeon for sure.
Oh, okay. There we go. And he was so gracious to allow me to come and do my podcast in his studio. He came and asked me yesterday, so I was just dove in and said, "Yeah, let's go ahead and get it done." And I'm here, and I'm excited about it.
Yes.
And let me just tell you just a little bit about this gentleman here. Me and him have been knowing each other for 15 plus years. Our kids knew each other for many years. They're real good friends and pals and all that. We met each other through band when they were in band in high school and stuff like that. And this gentleman is phenomenal. He's funny. He's brings a great flair to whatever he does. He's got his own podcast called The Flying Junkies. And just let me tell you just a little bit more about his accolades that he does do. He's audio. He's got some audio engineering, video editing. He got technical support. He's like a guru in 3D printing, and I can't even tell you no more about it. This gentleman can fly a drone crazy. He got a video that he flew downtown Orlando. Can't believe it. This dude is phenomenal. And hip hop historian. Let me tell you, this gentleman can do it all. And I'm so glad that he invited me over just to talk with him because he is a foodie as well. And he just loves food. He loves to take pictures of food. And he is just dangerous. This dude is awesome. And I'm going to tell you his name. His name is Frank Zambrata. But call him AKA Frankie Hovers.
That's right. Big up, big up, big up.
Oh, what's up, brother?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited about the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You've been doing some big things. You've been doing some big things out there. So I got hype. I kind of stumbled into a couple of your episodes, and I was tuning in, and I had to hit you up and invite you to the spot. Get you to bless me with a little energy here. You know what I mean? It's been a long time coming. So thanks for having me, man.
Well, I appreciate that for sure. I appreciate you telling me come. Just inviting me over. Just gonna change my voice every now and then to throw a little bit of flair because that's what I do on my show anyway.
Right.
Just throw it because having fun is all what it's all about. But this man loves food. I did some empanadas myself. Threw them on TikTok. Got a little bit of rave on them. Not a lot, but it was a very fun thing to do. I did it with my wife and everything. Did everything from scratch. Then I go on this guy's site just to throw a little history, just to get a little history about him because he came on. He's gracious enough to come on my show, and I wanted to go ahead and just look into him just to see what kind of little bits and pieces or little nuggets that we can get from him.
On me, snuck up on me, man.
I know.
Pulled out some things. You're like, I don't know if you follow the music scene, but there's this guy Nardwar that goes around, and he's always he's like a detective. He knows things about artists that he shouldn't, and they're always caught off guard by him. How'd you know about that time I punched a guy in Denny's in 1975?
That's crazy. But that means that the gentleman's doing his homework, and he has a great interest in you and what you do and how you go about doing everything. And that's what inspires me to do what I do because you would give me the courage. And I don't say that. You gave me a lot of courage because
you give me courage, man. It's a long time ago, we bumped into each other, and I remember you said to me, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about, kind of branching out on what I do." And we sat down and talked, and this word came up. It was the accountability partner,
right?
And that was an interesting thing because it's something that I had learned from. It was in recent times where I was hanging around YouTubers, people who are creators. They love to make videos, edit music videos, do photography, make beats, whatever.
Wow.
Painters, artists, I used to do live sound back in the day and still do. We used to hold down all the clubs and everything. So I started learning about accountability partners only in recent times.
Right.
And it's something that I think everybody can apply. And when you came to me, I was like, you would make a great accountability partner, only because the way we bounce off of each other when we're talking about our passions, we easily were like, wow, okay, wait, I came away with 5 improvements. You hopefully went away with some improvements, and we only were able to excel from there. So I was excited about that when, you said to me, oh, I'm branching out. I want to do some YouTube stuff. I want to knock out some podcasts. And then you found, that bringing something you love, which is food, into the mix, made it so much easier for you to just crank these things out. And I was inspired because you'd be whipping up dishes, online, 30-second long videos. Today we're going to do some camarones. You guys like shrimps? I'm your boy Marty, and then boom, you're up there frying it up. I'm trying. And then I started following you on TikTok, Instagram, before you know it, you were spreading like a disease everywhere, man.
Thank you.
And a good disease, Thank you. Not one of those that itch too much, kind of. You don't need any cream; it just goes away on its own.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit of powder, Go Bond for about a week, for about 2-3 days, something like that. But I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you following me. I appreciate you giving me just a little bit of your time, of your day to reach out and see what a brother's doing and stuff like that. I appreciate you.
Anytime. We're family, man. We go way back. Like you said earlier, we know each other 15 plus years. We have kids, that went to school together. And we got a connection to the Bronx as well. Shout out to Sandra.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I was just about to go ahead. He's in my mind. He's in my mind here.
I believe you're Ohio. Is that right?
Exactly.
If I remember correctly. Okay, exactly. So my brain isn't fried yet.
Not yet. He's still going, guys. He's still going. He's still there because he's still got to go. He's still got those drones that he got to fly that he just loves to do. Yes, he is an enthusiast about that, so he does like.
Yeah, that was an amazing intro. Thank you for that, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
That was amazing. I'm gonna have you at my roast.
But
we no funeral, but I felt bad.
Roast sounds better than funeral. Believe me. We're not here to take you out. We're up here to uplift you, bring you up, bring you higher, because that's what it's all about. And by the way, how is Khalil and Jasmine? Are they doing well? Jasmine graduated college, didn't she?
Yeah. Nice. She's actually back in now. She's going for a master's, I believe. Mm-hmm. She's still doing the psychology route.
Okay.
She's working in child psychology right now. She has a good job. She sort of works auxiliary to the state, and she kind of helps place orphans in good homes and things like that, So she's doing real good. We're real proud of her. Khalil's doing good. He's going through a transition right now. Most guys that are above 25 years old, you start to transition,
Yeah, I don't know if you recall that age. I think I can think back that day.
Yeah.
Rice comes into mind, all kinds of rice, like different rice, like sugared rice and salt and pepper rice. And,
oh, yes. Yeah, you're talking like
rice and gravy, rice and water, rice and, just rice with just
mayonnaise sandwiches.
Many of those. When you got a cracked egg and you crack an egg on that fried up egg sandwich, boy.
Yeah, that's the 20s for most people.
Exactly.
They go broke and they find themselves again. If you're lucky in your 20s and you find some money, that's a great thing. But most people sort of figure themselves out there. You know what I mean?
He will.
So he's going through that now, but he's doing great, man. He's nice. He's in the tech support industry, and he's a very intelligent person. He's just a creative type, so he has to devote a lot of his power to being creative to be happy. A lot like me.
Got you.
A lot like me, So big shout out Khalil and Jasmine. My kids holding it down.
Look at him. Shout out from Dad. Look at that. You guys should be proud of him. Be proud of him. He's doing great things. He's doing great things.
And grew up with your kids,
Exactly. Carlos is doing good. Carlos is doing everything right. He's just trying to get his life together like anybody else, like growing up.
Man.
Thank you.
I know he's not a kid anymore. Big shout out to Los. I know
Los,
I'm not a kid, man.
Los Locos was up. That's my boy.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy, man. He's always been real loyal. He's been a great friend, and he's, we consider him family. He used to hang out at my house, half the time, and my son would hang out in yours. Yes. So we go way back. It's going to be fun.
He's always family. We hug each other. I treat him like he's my son, and I take care of him. in your absence, so he's always taken care of. So you're good. So you don't have to, no worries on that.
And I'll tell you what, in all the years my son has stayed in your house, I've never heard any complaints about the food, Chef.
Thank you. That's what it's all about. It's all about the food. See, we got off topic, and I'm sorry for that, but I am not sorry for that because we needed to know a little bit more about this man. You know what I'm saying?
It's been a while since we've been in a room together.
Exactly. So this is all about the food. Now tell me, Frank, I know we all know that the kitchen is where food is made and food is introduced and all that stuff as well, because we wasn't born in restaurants and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then I'm going to get a little bit more deeper and a little bit more adult as I go, but the questions are simple, just picking your head, because this is my first guest and I want to know things about a home chef, even if you just grill food or you all about baking or all about, just making your own pastas, stuff like that, breads, whatever you want to do. This is what I'm all about. This is what I like to do. And this is what I started and founded my show on. Is all about things from scratch. Now tell me, I seen you make a lot of things. I scroll through your Instagram a little bit, seeing a little bit of pictures that you got there and all that. And what is your favorite thing that you love to do in the kitchen? It doesn't have to be cooking. In other words, it could be anything other than washing dishes and doing manual labor in the kitchen. What is it?
Favorite thing to do in the kitchen? Wow, that's a tough one, because even though the kitchen is a place close to my heart, a place where a lot of fun happens, a lot of the time you're in the kitchen, you're not doing your favorite things, you have to do a lot of unfavorite things to get to a really amazing meal, or whatever you're preparing in the kitchen, right? So you go through a lot of hell. You go through a lot of, a good example is if you're making shrimp or something like that, let's say, right?
Yeah.
That takes a lot of work to prepare, but the outcome is worth it, right?
Of course.
So what my favorite thing to do in the kitchen? Wow. I mean, it would be cooking, of course. Currently, my favorite tool in the kitchen would be the cast iron skillet. So I love going off with a cast iron skillet right now. You give me a cast iron skillet that's well seasoned with some butter, and I can do magical things with that,
Awesome.
And that's coming from a guy who usually is more, let's go to the grill with this. Let's take this to the grill. Let's go to the grill, and the grill's amazing. I love my grills. Charcoal grills are amazing. Wood grills are amazing. But once I got into cast irons, it was kind of a new thing for me. Okay. My family never cooked on one. Being a child born in the 70s, growing up through the 80s, everything was Teflon coated pans. Everything was non-stick, Teflon coated. Some guy on QVC was selling you a 12 set for $18.99 free shipping, and your mom bought 8 of them to give away for Christmas, right?
Of course.
So we never had cast irons, but I'm pretty sure my grandmother or someone before, my great grandparents would have used them. And I started watching people online, and I started hearing about the health benefits of a cast iron. They apparently transfer actual iron, which is good for your blood. People take iron pills,
right.
Just to supplement for that kind of thing, because they don't have enough iron in your diet, which makes you think, was man correct thousands of years ago when they used the cast iron to cook with, right? Like us going Teflon in the 80s and all that kind of like, it made cooking easier. It made cleaning easier, but the flavors that I can get out of a cast iron skillet, par none. I'm talking, it's the secret to unlocking flavor out of your food,
Of course.
So cast iron skillet all day long. Get me in the kitchen with like some broccoli, some onions,
Gotcha.
Little soy sauce in there, some sugar. We'll do a little, maybe some adobo, so we get that Puerto Chino thing going.
Always gotta have that Puerto Rico, because that's what I'm married to. Gotta have that Puerto Rico in there somewhere all the time, And
I get down, man. I love cooking. I do like cooking.
Got you.
I do like it. Not that I like the jobs that I've had in the past, far and few between, I've had a few cooking jobs.
Nice. That's good to hear.
And it taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I always tell people, there's a few things you should do in your life is become a cook, a chef somewhere,
right?
And also work as a security guard for a nightclub. As weird as that sounds, because you learn so much. If you can do those jobs in your 20s, you learn so much about life and how people really are,
Okay. So you got the good and the bad.
The best thing about those places, both of those places have the best chefs. They always hire a 5-star chef. He's really 3 stars, but one time back in 1994, he got a Michelin star for being next to the guy that was next to the guy that was the sous chef.
There you go. I hear you.
They always have the best guys back there. They tell you the most amazing stories.
Right.
They cook you a meal, you know what I mean? And you learn, by kind of osmosis, by observation. So
that is true, because if you catch the right nightclub and they got the bomb food,
oh man,
how can you not leave? You know what I'm saying?
Right?
You gotta go make better, exactly. You want to try everything on the menu. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. And if you go to a hot club, they typically, from my experience, again, working in clubs, I told you I did sound and all that.
Right.
You go to the right club, they don't spare no expense on the chef. They're like, dude, we're pulling in $150,000 a night. We can afford to pay, somebody to be here to bang this out for us.
Exactly.
So usually those places either attract good talent or they go out and try to find good talent.
Okay.
And why, if you were a chef, right, which you are, and I said to you, hey man, come out to Ibiza, come out to Spain. I got this little club. It's 3 stories tall. It holds like 4,000 people. Right? Think about that. And I said to you, hey, come out, do a 3-month contract. Just cook for 3 months. We'll put you on the bill. You'd be like, dude, that's a chef world tour waiting to happen.
I would do that.
And the next thing you know, you're like, you know what? I got a deal. I'm gonna work in Ibiza at a club there, work for 3 months, and then my rides home will be my cruise ships.
Of course.
I could work on the cruise ships and be the 5-star restaurant guy,
There you
so
go.
When you work in these clubs and you work in these situations, you kind of learn like, the industry, that kind of industry requires you to sort of become international and reach out to the world to become, look around you, man. Look at Anthony Bourdain.
A little bit more cultured. A little bit more cultured in your craft.
Zimmern, the guy that eats
Andrew Zimmer,
foods, what do you think of those guys? You being a chef, what do you think of those guys? Who's your favorite? Let me flip the interview on you.
He is flipping the interview on me. That is not right. That is not right. Because my next question was, I was asking, about the skillet, but I'm like, let's go ahead and just keep it rolling. This is the show, and I'm loving it. We got some good flow here, But I think I got my favorite chef that really introduced me into cooking, and really has got my juices rolling. And there's 2 of them. There's a Louisiana chef. Can't remember his name, but he was always about hoo-wah. You got a guarantee. There's something like that.
We're talking going back a little bit.
Yeah, we're talking
like 80s, 90s, going back.
80s, 70s.
He have red suspenders?
Yeah.
I know this guy.
Exactly.
I
guarantee. That's the dude. That was my dude.
That was a great time because there weren't a lot of it's not like now you got millions of chefs out there all doing it. Back then, you had him and Julia Childs.
Childs and a couple others. There was a Korean lady or a Chinese lady that was out there. She was trying to do her thing, but Americans wasn't interested in that kind of cuisine at the time that they are right now, the way we're explosive on cuisines at this time from other countries and other cultures and stuff like that. And I think that's one of my passions or one of my niches that I am exploring through this podcast, is to bring the history of what we do and on what we eat and what we consume every day, where it comes from and how far it went back, and why we use it today. But that's,
interesting. It's one of the things I love about your show, not to cut you off there, but give you the utmost respect there, because when you first put me onto the show, I was thinking like, how are you going to fit cooking a linguine into a podcast that you can't see, And then I tuned in and it was great because you were giving like the folklore of food. You were talking about the history of food. You were breaking down the cooking process, going back in time.
Right.
You were covering race and how it affects food.
Thank you.
And how it affected you growing up. You brought in religion. You brought in comedy, and that was funny. It was great. So I give you the utmost respect for that. A lot of props, a lot of respects.
Appreciate you.
You're tapping on something. I don't know how many other shows out there in the world have, that are touching on that kind of thing, the food folklore and all that. I'm sure there's some that exist, but
I think
when I heard it the first time, I was like, ooh.
I think that was just something I had to go ahead and do, but
I love it.
But it's just, I'm going to take this and spin it back because this is all about my boy Frank. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask him a few more questions and just see, just to nitpick his little brain.
So this is like an interview, huh? See, I thought you were gonna go. I came here to talk about coq-au-vin or coq-au-vin. How do you call it?
No. I mean, I'm
going. In 1747,
we're gonna go
French
back
guy named Jacques the Coq came out with the coq-au-vin.
What are you talking about? That was my very first episode. What are you talking about?
I thought we were going to talk about what Mozart ate, man.
No. I don't know, man. He probably ate, saw bread and and stuff like that. But they had some interesting food back in those days.
He couldn't eat very well.
He probably gummed it and swallowed it.
Everybody had wooden teeth back then.
And, they always drunk sherry and all that good
sherry
stuff.
And some through your wooden teeth. I'd like some sherry, please. You have to lisp. I'd like some sherry, please. Sherry. They got wood teeth.
Oh yeah, you get a little sherry, please. Yeah, something like that.
Sherry, please.
No, I do have but we're gonna keep going with the food. But I want to go ahead and just, we're gonna go back and forth because I don't just want to bore you with food because we have two individuals here that eats food and that's passionate about food. But I want to go ahead.
We definitely are individuals that eat food and we are passionate about it.
Exactly.
All right, my brother. What you got?
This I noticed that you were taking pictures of beers. Are you like the world of beers? I've been there before, and they have I never seen a catalog of beer before. That is so freaking interesting to me.
Those things are amazing, yeah.
But I noticed that you take you drink. You have a connoisseur taste of beers because I noticed you take a lot of pictures of certain beers that you like and stuff like that. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that because beer does go with food.
Oh my goodness!
Understand?
Oh my goodness!
Come on!
You could not have said it better. You see me? I'm smiling. I'm so freaking happy right now.
I got him smiling, John. I got him smiling.
If it starts with beer and it ends with R, I'm there. I love beer. As far as beer itself is a cooking process. You have to heat up the hops and boil everything down to a mash. So in essence, I guess. To me, when I think of a beer maker, I think of them kind of being a chef.
Right.
They're selecting the hops from a certain region. They're throwing the yeast in. They're boiling it down. They're timing it. It may even be one could argue it may even be a cross between baking and cooking. Because I'm not a good baker. I don't bake at all. I'm not good at making cakes. I can throw that pre-cut cookie dough on a sheet and throw it in the oven, and that's as close as you'll ever get out of me. But as far as beer is concerned, beer is something you can cook with. Brings a lot of flavor to food. One time I made a bread and I was using yeast packets.
Yes.
And I was whipping up my own bread at home. Got my own homemade dough and I'm making like tortillas and I'm making dough, loaves out of the dough and I'm making pretzels and I'm going all crazy with all these different experiments.
Wow.
And I ran out of yeast. And I was like, shit, where am I going to get some,
beer is good yeast.
Beer is good yeast. It hit me as I'm drinking it. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Doesn't beer have yeast?
All the time.
Yeast in it. So I go do a little research and I'm like, there's plenty of yeast. So I research, have people ever made beer breads?
Yes.
And people have experimented. So I was like, screw it. Dumped a few, like 2 cans into I had no yeast. So all I had was this. I probably had a PBR or a Yingling, one of those.
Yeah.
And I dumped it right into the beer and it rose very similar to the other one. So I knew it was working,
Yeah.
And
you had that frothy look to it, like
it had a different
bubbly
color.
Taste.
It had a different color, and I noticed that it started exhibiting these like dark areas on the dough. It's sort of like one spot would be lighter and another spot would be dark.
You need a little bit more on that, bro. You didn't need it properly.
I probably did. I agree because I went light, and I know that when I ate the bread, even though it rose, it didn't rise as much as the stuff I did with the yeast. So you're right. I think I needed more.
If you had needed it for at least about 10 minutes or 8 to 10 minutes.
And I think adding more beer maybe as well, because this way, you know, you get a little more yeast in
because
there.
You can actually make pizza dough with beer.
Really?
And you can use it like a beer like this, but it has to be a dark beer, like a Guinness or something that has like a lager.
Guinness, whoa!
You know,
because
it brings a different taste to it.
Guinness
you
is
can bring that nutty,
but that would be good
right?
too.
It brings a nutty taste to it. You'll be impressed, and you're like, I got to do that again.
That's an interesting take, because those beers are you know, like even an IPA would be a little heavier in hops and flavor, and maybe in yeast. You know, you would think they would. I don't know. That's an interesting one. What makes the better beer? A pilsner, a lager, a stout?
I think it's going to be a stout or a lager, because
I think that's a whole episode waiting to happen right there.
That is. I've been doing my research on that too, because I love bread myself, and you guys know I love bread. So I do. I can do my thing, so I ain't got to sit there and put myself out there.
That's the interesting thing about you. You're, I guess that's what encompasses a chef. Maybe that's what makes me. I'm like Rachel Ray. You know what I mean? I'm a home cook.
Oh, Rachel Ray, don't sleep on her, bro.
But you can do everything.
Don't sleep on her. Thank you.
You brought me cookies earlier. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Just to show my appreciation, because
appreciate the gift.
Look where I am. Yep. Look where I am.
Just so you guys know out there, those tuning in, they're not Space Cadet cookies. I did ask. I had to be careful, you never know.
They are not Space Cadet cookies. No, they are fairly genuine South Dakota branded cookies. They're sold version that you can actually, get nothing out of it, but just enjoyment.
There go. I'm going to get plenty of enjoyment out of those. Thank you for that. Yeah,
but you're going to enjoy them. They're soft. They're made with love. It's a cookie this is a specialty chef cookie. Can't tell you all about it, but once he gets in it, all he's thinking about is milk. That's all he's thinking about, and and that's on his second cookie when he's thinking about the milk. Let me tell you, them cookies is freaking awesome.
That milk, ooh.
But man, it's just incredible that I'm just here. But I just want to go ahead and just ask him another question here, because I'm gonna wrap this up, because I don't want to. I don't want to use up too much of his time. No, we good? We good?
We're rocking about a half hour in. I think we got at least another half hour in us, man.
All right, cool.
I don't know where I'm trying to go to the top of the mountain right now. I got a chef with me. Like, why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? I got somebody that knows how to cook. Let's go.
Thank you. But this is my next question.
Yeah.
And I want to ask this question because I know that we are both, this user of this product, and we both enjoy this product a little bit too much sometimes, but it is one of those things that we do. And it is not even one of those things that you can even say is hidden away, or this little, dirty secret or something like that, because everyone's doing it. And if someone telling you they ain't doing it, they lying. Okay. Let me tell you. I watched this show on Netflix. It's called Cooking with Cannabis.
Oh.
Now, I'm telling you, they cooking 3-course meals. I'm talking with a dessert. Oh. Okay? Or maybe like 2 entrees with a dessert. Let me go ahead and tell you, with infused marijuana oil, different types, and different types of flour, different types of oils, and they're putting the flour in it. Now, I was so freaking anxious to freaking ask you this question, because this is something I can just talk with somebody that is just
taboo.
There it is. Now,
what you got?
Frank, tell me your take on cooking with cannabis and the different types that we have today, all the different strands, all of the different ways of how it infuses food, and stuff like that. Now, throughout your experiences, and I'm seeing all these pictures, I don't know which ones have a little bit of, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Everything anymore. I wasn't. I didn't want to know. I wasn't there.
Okay, let him go. Let him go. Let him pass. Let him pass. We're not going to catch him driving black. Okay, we're not getting caught up in that.
DWP, driving while Puerto Rican.
There you go. That's me. I'll say it on myself. See, we know each other's races. There we go. What's up? What's your thought on that? How do you think? Tell me a little bit.
It's interesting that you bring that up because people that are in our age group tend to see it as taboo. However, the new generation coming in doesn't see it as taboo, and I give us credit for that, and the people before us. The Steve Jobs generation and before them, they were all advocates for fighting for the freedom of pot, for the freedom to be able to smoke, right? To be able to consume it, to eat it like an edible, which is what we're talking about here. And that's because consuming marijuana gives you health benefits. It settles your stomach. I heard that before. It's very medicinal. It will relax the muscles in your body. Recently, I had a little back problem, and muscles were out of whack. My feet were hurting. Everything was going all crazy. Took a few gummies, and that's how I got through a week without having to take any man-made medicine in terms of like an Advil or I don't want to say names because I don't want you to lose sponsors, but any of those aspirins we're gonna keep
it product free. We're gonna keep it product free.
Right. Yeah. We all love those things. They get us through as well, but in order to stay away from those things, they kill your liver. Gummies, edibles don't do that to you. So there's a way to kind of pad yourself and get through things that you maybe would otherwise run towards man-made medicines for by using cannabis as an alternative.
Okay.
As far as eating it, we all know smoking it will affect you. It takes 20 minutes to hit you. You're laughing, you're giggling, you got cotton mouth, you get the munchies.
Right.
Consuming it, eating it does not affect you that way. It affects you very different. Like I mentioned with the body thing, with the muscular, the way it affects your muscles, the way it affects your thought process even.
Okay.
If you look at the old, there's some old writings, I believe they go back to the 1700s. They were experimenting with consuming hash.
Right.
And they talked about how they saw visions. These are the Renaissance eras guys going into the 1800s. They talked about how they would consume enough hash that they would see visions. So some people attribute that to a psychedelic. I don't know that I see visions on it, but we all know that consuming cannabis affects your eyes because cataract patients, people who have glaucoma, are affected by marijuana in a positive way, right?
Does it make them see better or make them see worse or something like that?
Exactly right. By people who have glaucoma, which is basically a calcium forming in your eye, it forms in the cornea of your eye or something like that. You get this calcium cover that sort of, you look through the world through a gray, hazy lens.
Gotcha.
So they found that glaucoma patients who consume marijuana for the next 4 hours, their vision is improved 30 to 50%.
Oh, okay.
So that means that if they smoke enough during the day, they can see better. So this is better than going and getting, some kind of weird eye surgery done that may have been a fluke. And this is back in the day. New eye surgeries are supposed to be better. But back in the day, those eye surgeries would destroy eyes. People would go blind, This is better than taking weird medicines that they claim affect your eyes, like dilators.
Snake oil and stuff like that.
Right. Things that are just doing more harm to you than good, So as far as cannabis, I always felt that it was a healing of the nation kind of a thing.
Okay.
I feel like it's a food. Birds eat it naturally. Birds will find it in nature and just consume cannabis, as do other animals, as do we. We cook with it, like you mentioned. It tastes damn good on a pizza.
It does? You had it on pizza?
Oh, man.
Come on. Get out.
Think about it. When you make pizza,
he had it on pizza. Come on.
Think about it. When you put oregano, parsley, basil on a pizza, what are those?
They're
herbs.
Yeah, exactly. What?
So if you get the right, remember, it's got to be the right bud because every bud tastes different. Every herb will say tastes different, So I'll give you a good reference point if you can.
Okay.
If you can find this guy named Action Bronson, he has a show called First We Feast.
First We Feast. I'm gonna look that up.
First We Feast, Action Bronson, right? Go check that guy out. He has an episode where he goes through Italy, Eatly, like Italy, but Italy in New York. And they basically buy up a bunch of ingredients. They go back to his place and they cook them up. And he's making a homemade pizza with fresh basil, margarita style pizza. And he's smoking. And he's like, yo, let me crumble up this herb on top. And he blew everybody's minds because it tasted amazing. They were like, something's amazing about
Get
this
out
pizza.
of here.
And he's like, he started talking about how, oh, you got to know, you got to pick the right bud. That's blue cheese with the da-da-da. You know, he started naming the right weed to put on the pizza to make it taste right, you know?
Oh, he didn't did that before. This guy's a connoisseur. Yes, Don't get him twisted. Yes. He didn't did that many times. He went down the street, around the corner, and made a recipe. What you talking about?
No, you could tell he was a pro at it. You know, he's a smoker. So, you know, cooking and cannabis to me go together. You know, like the typical cannabis plant, you drop it into some butter and all the THC escapes the plant and goes into the butter. And then you can cook with that butter. It's the easiest recipe you can give anybody to start.
Well, let me tell you that. Okay. Let me tell you that.
Oh, boy.
I am a chef now. I am a chef
because I thought I was badass with my weed butter and my brownie mix.
Let me tell you something. I took a cup of butter. That's 2 sticks of butter, right? So I put my bud, decent bud. I don't know if it was decent enough because sometimes you gotta look at it like cheese. You don't want to put cheddar cheese on your pizza and you need mozzarella. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what exactly I don't know exactly what kind of weed I was looking at. So I did go ahead and say, let me go ahead and put, 2 nice buds and some butter, let it cook down. I render it in some hot water, let it just melt down by itself. Let the weed just get all nice and jelly. I had like a little, I made a tea bag out of cheesecloth. So I'm not getting no fibers of the weed. Right, I was doing it right. So I turned around and made some cookies with it, Matter of fact, the cookies were orange. They had some orange tasting cookies with it, just to make it that much interesting because it tasted like an orange. If you ever had an orange, remember back in the day those orange sickles with the ice cream.
Stop. Yes. Yeah. Oh, stop.
It tasted like that. Okay.
Goodness. Yo, I'm gonna. You know your new AK. You know what your new AKA name is? Orange Julius.
There you go, Orange Julius.
Orange Julius in the
Just call me OJ. But anyhow, I made some and I was waiting. It's like I was waiting for this effect. I'm like, this. Everyone says, you're supposed to get all freaking, supposed to have this eerie looking high and all that. I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and do it. But I'm turning around. I'm like this. I don't feel.
You were one of those.
Feel nothing.
Wait, you were one of those, so it bounced off of you.
It was like this. I'm like, how many cookies do I have to eat? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know.
So what was the ratio? Do you remember? Did you said 2 sticks of butter?
2 sticks of butter makes 1 cup.
Consumable. How much product did you put
say a gram.
That's why.
I wasn't strong enough.
You know what you need? I'm going to tell you where I learned this from. This is Cypress Hill. Big shout out to the group Cypress Hill, rap group out there.
Cypress Hill. Right.
So hip hop group, amazing. They came up in the 90s. They were one of the
remember them nice music
pioneers.
Bros.
Oh, amazing guys, man. Yeah, and I know you got a little hip hop bone in you, so you
thank you. I'm trying to stay black. To stay black.
They just came out with a little documentary. But so back in the day, I was doing some research on, because that's the first thing you go for whenever you cook. You go for the brownie. You make a cookie. You know, some people do pancakes or whatever. It's the first thing you kind of go for, right? So I was on a quest to make good ones, and we always would just take the Duncan Hines recipe off the back of the box, and we just substitute the butter for this, and we'd always throw a little bit of weed because weed was expensive, hard to get, taboo, illegal back then, so we would use a little bit. We put in a quarter, and it'd be 4 people eating it,
Right.
We'd be like, why aren't we feeling anything? We put a 1/4 ounce of weed in there, and then next time we put a little bit more and we start to feel it. So I researched a little more, and one day I stumbled upon Be Real from Cypress Hill. He gave his recipe to High Times. And he said, this is my recipe for making butter. And he says you need a minimum an eighth per person. So by you using a gram, you were shying yourself you were shying yourself, what is that? 2 grams you were shying yourself?
Oh, okay.
So you needed to put 3 grams in just for you alone. 2 sticks of butter, 6 grams. This way each stick represents one person. So you got your own stick, and whoever your partner is can have, a little bit as well, right? So, so that's the thing, is use that as a gauge. Never put less than an eighth of bud in for yourself as a consumable. You often want to go a quarter because you're not a newbie. This is not your first time. You know what I mean? And when you're cooking with things, you can dose out. So you can cook several cookies. Instead of making 10 cookies, you can make them smaller, bigger.
That's what I was going for. That's what I'm going for. Because I'm always...
That's the way to do it, man.
Because when I make cookies, I make them to what the specs are. If it says 7 dozen, I'm getting 7 dozen.
Right.
It all depends on what spoon they're using, or tablespoon that they're using, or scoop that they're using, or something like that. And I have an upcoming episode is that I'm going to unfold, and I'm going to say this again, I'm going to unfold recipes.
Ooh.
Check that out. Upcoming, like that. You better watch out for that.
That's a great name for a cookbook, by the way. Not that I'm trying to, sway you any which way or get 10% off the top for all publishing fees and rights sold in Canada as well. $19.95. See me on Amazon. I mean, I'm saying, though.
Nice disclaimer. You did that.
I'm only kidding. But seriously, that's a great name for a cookbook, man. Unfolded. The foods of whatever. You know what?
Well,
Travel Channel's going to call Mr. Marty. We'd like you to go to Guam and make some shrimp. Agalagugu hai pangkang. And then we need you to go
I got a recipe on that. I Googled it. No, I'm playing.
We're going to make muga hakakang hai pangkang today.
It grows naturally on the cliffs of Rugagumba.
Oh, man. So outside of like you with the that was interesting that you brought up the cooking, with consumables, so to say. That was an interesting topic. Something that I've been experimenting with a little bit lately, so if you ever need anything, holla at your boy. I got that recipe on lock.
Gotcha. But what is going on with this quote? Now I'm going to bring this out. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this out. It's not a quote. It's not a quote. It's something, it's gonna I hope that it inspires you, or what you get out of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and my boy Frankie looking serious in the black and white. His beard was just, he had blonde hair in his beard instead of gray hair in his beard.
I got that devastating secret agent look. Dashingly handsome, but curiously dangerous.
You'll feel afraid at times. You'll feel weak at times. But remember, fear and weakness are not your enemies. They are forms of evolutionary wisdom in the face of danger. Could you remember that? Mm-hmm. Man, that is great.
I do.
What made you go ahead and do that, bro? That's awesome, dude.
It's just, it touched me, man. Evolutionary wisdom in the face of danger. The only time that I've ever evolved properly were times where I was pushed,
right,
almost to the point of fear. Sometimes it's fear that I want. Sometimes you want to be pushed. Examples of that are like going for jobs, or if you're on stage, you love being a dancer, but maybe once you hit the corner and they tell you, all right, you're going to be on in 30 seconds, you get frightened. All of a sudden you're scared.
You step out, you don't step out on faith.
Right. You know what I mean? So having that sort of like, that mindset makes me realize that I have to almost be in fear sometimes to move at all.
Oh, okay.
Especially as I get older. As you get older, you get more comfortable. You start to relax in it more. You start to go, I could do that then. I could do that later,
Right.
But then you realize that without like a certain level of fear, you won't be as motivated. You won't be as hungry,
Okay.
You start to get comfortable.
Do you think our youth are missing out because they're so catered at this moment in life, like in America or something like that. What is your take on that? Because it seems like they're fearless. They go out and do all of these things. Like, man, I want to be born at this time, but I'm like, no, I don't. I want to be born when I was born because I'm like, I have a lot to look back on how I came up and what has changed around me.
You and me are different. We're built differently.
Right.
They are fearless because they are protected. That's the only reason they act that way.
Got you.
I'll say it again. They're fearless because they're protected.
Okay.
See, they can walk around head high because they have a cushion to fall on.
Gotcha.
If I had a device in my pocket that I could say, I'm not going to say it now because it'll trigger everybody's phone in the room. I could see podcast people all over the world hating this episode because it
What's
triggers.
up?
But when you say, hey, Alexa, or hey, Google, right? You always get your phone. See, my phone just went on, right? If I had that in my pocket, I have this eternal library of information. I'd walk around like I got a big, what too. Okay. I'd be like, yo, I know everything. Right. And no adult could tell me nothing.
Right.
No law enforcement could tell me nothing. No God can tell me nothing because I have everything.
It's even like pocket. Religion too? Come on,
I think
man.
so. You know why? Because the first time people challenge religion in their lives, they go to the internet to challenge it. They try to see quickly. Where back in the day, you and I couldn't go to the internet. We had to go to a church. We had to go to a church. We had to talk to other people. Be with a friend that's not part of your church, that's of a different religion, to realize, oh shit, there's something else out there.
Exactly.
Wait a minute, and you guys don't even we don't eat meat on Fridays, but you guys do a whole other, You get what I'm saying? Or you're Jewish and and you're Hindu and and then you start to realize by being a citizen of the world that there's not one religion, and that, you question yourself. Gotcha. So very young, the only way for us to experience any of this was to be a part of it. So we had to join every religion. We had to be Catholic, Christian, Hindu, Jewish, whatever, we had to join and become a Buddhist and do all those.
You're talking about just individuals and being introduced into faith in their upbringing, if you want to say. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yes, you're usually a derivative of what your grandparents were, right? Gotcha. Whatever your grandparents were, most likely your parents were. For me, it was Catholic, right? Because my grandparents were Catholic.
Gotcha.
They were brought up Catholic, so my parents were Catholic, and they would take me to church, and I learned about Easter, and in our religion we chant a lot and sing a lot, and that's how we pray. Where when I got to Florida, moving from New York, everybody here was Christian, and when I went to their church, they weren't chanting and praying, and there were no candles lit the same way. And
they were the
pastor and the preachers and all these different things were not wearing what
robes.
Our what do they call them? I forget. See, I'm such a bad Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but if I were one, I'm about. They call them what? They're not clergy. They're not. I forget. We'll look that up one day.
Cardinals,
cardinals or something, right?
Something like that.
They're more related to the Vatican, to the Pope, and all that, right? So that's the only
Game of Thrones.
Example of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is my religion. I am. Oh man, I'm a mess.
But it's cool, bro. I'm sorry for throwing you off.
That's a great example.
I'm a Baptist, man.
That's
I'm
a
Baptist.
Wild time, That's a wild time for religion. That whole, Renaissance era, right? So I don't know, but I also strayed away from Catholicism and started to realize that there were all these other religions,
right?
And I said to myself, well, let me study them, And I would hang out with people who were Jewish and devout Jewish, and ask them questions and be a part of their faith and borrow their books and go hang out with them.
Gotcha.
And then go over and jump over to Muslims and 5%ers from the 5% Nation, and they would tell me about all the 85 this and the 85 that, and I would get these crazy lessons that I would be like, yo, wait a minute, this stuff kind of makes sense, and those religions, they tend to force you to question the earth and what it means to be here now and human now and physically able to touch things, as opposed to other religions which force you to think about getting to that afterlife,
right?
Something you can't physically touch or see. We just promise you it's there if you follow along,
Gotcha.
So that interested me. Wow, these people over here have an ideology of if you do good in life, suffer through everything, eventually you'll get this amazing ending, right?
Gotcha.
And then you have this other side of it is no, you want to do everything amazing now in life. The ending is going to come to you anyways, you know?
Gotcha.
And it was like, whoa, this is interesting. Why? How do you know these two groups? And then you start studying martial arts. And that's when you start hearing about things like Buddhism and the Chinese and the Koreans and the Japanese and the way they see multiple gods. They're not monotheistic. They don't have just one God. I praise to my one God and he's good. They wake up every day and go, thank you, tree outside with leaves, that God. They go, thank you, water God. Thank you, food God. You know, that's something to look into maybe for an episode, you know, is the way the Orientals, the Asians, the European, what would that would be the people in Turkey. They're all considered Asian. Turkey, I believe Iran and all those places. All of those are considered Asian. You know, look at how they worship their food. Look at how the Jewish people have to bless food before they eat it.
Right.
You know, they have to pray over that shit before they stick it in their mouth, or else you did it. You fucked up. You know.
And well, don't everyone pray? Hey, I pray over my food.
Everybody prays over their food, but you don't have a priest come over. You don't have a pastor.
What? Oh, God bless everybody's food.
I'm so horrible at this. What do they call?
What the village?
The Jewish.
I don't know.
What is their leader?
I don't know.
What is they have a?
I don't know. I tried.
I never met that guy, but hey, he might be the one.
His name is Joseph.
But you know what I'm saying? Like that whole, you know, like religious connotation to food. That could be interesting to explore on a show maybe one day, because you know those people can't eat. Hebrew people can't eat until what are they called, man? When they bless the food, they do it's kosher. They can't until but who has to do it? It's not. It's not a pastor. God, I hate using Google.
Don't know, shit. Man.
You
sometimes you may have to use it, but move on.
Move on. This is whatever. Leave us your answer in the chat.
Exactly.
Let us know
leave
what
it
is
in the
so
chat.
that we can get educated on it.
Exactly. And you could just, you know, I'll leave all my information in the description. I'll go ahead and tell you at the end as well. But we having such a good time here, and look at this. I told you, this man has a lot of information. We having a good time. Again, I am so blessed to be in his presence, be in his layer here. I'm loving it.
So blessed to have
you. But let's keep it moving. Now, I walked in your backyard a couple times, you know, and I seen, you know, a little bit of, you know, open pit out there.
Oh, yes.
You know, I know you don't do like the olden days, just burning, you know, garbage and stuff like that.
But I really want to.
Burning, you know, top secret evidence.
We burn
stuff like that. But
things back there.
But you did any open grilling out there, like fish or you know, pig or something like that?
Ooh, so I'll tell you what the first thing I experimented with out there. You'll probably laugh at me too.
What's up? Tell me.
So one of the first things I experimented with, and this was one of those nights, had a few lagers, you know.
Okay.
Feeling good. The stars are out. The moon is shining. You know, life is good.
Gotcha.
You know, nothing could take me out.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go inside and get a pan, fill it with oil, and bring out a can of Spam and throw that over the fire. So I took like.
Wait. Back up. Reverse. Tell me that, man.
I was hungry.
Tell me that again.
I was so hungry, man. So I'm sitting there. It's got to be 2:30 in the morning. No bull.
Oh, wow, you were
out 2:30 in the morning. Did moon is out. Did I say the sun earlier? The moon is out, and it's just beaming.
He did say the sun.
One of those moons and stars, and it's just like, oh, this is so beautiful. And then you get the munchies, you know, from all the drinking and the smoking. You know, they get little munchies going. I was hungry. So I ran in, and the easiest thing in my buzzed, moonlit, you know, feeling like the world is mine was Spam. Spam, it's easy. You just chop it into some chunks, you know. You can throw it on bread. It'll be all good, you know. I never made it to the bread. I ended up just throwing it in some oil. I threw a couple of bricks.
Oh, yeah?
I put the pan up on the brick. Bad idea, because remember, this is pre cast iron skillet, Frank. You know what I'm saying? This is Frank that had Teflon, some caca. You know what I mean?
You was better off doing it in just aluminum foil pan, right?
Yes, man. I was better just doing it in my hand at this point. Like with a stick, like sticky spam on a stick and just put it in the fire, But so I ended up like filling the thing with oil, and the fire got so big because of the oil that it just burned. The pan became black, But the oil was fine. It was frying. I'm making spam, and my neighbor comes out. He's like, "What you doing?" And I'm drunk, high, and he gets down too, and he's like, "What you doing over there? Smells mighty good."
You smelled that before.
I'm like, "Come on." So we're sitting there eating these like homemade stuff, and I got a loaf of bread. You know what I'm saying? I got so I have the loaf of bread. I got the mayonnaise and all that. And I started making them, and the fucking everything was falling because we're like a little buzz. Like, oh shit, I'm dropping crap everywhere. So we just ended up eating the spam, just, oh shit, I'm like killing my mic. We ended up just gobbling on the spam, just and putting mayonnaise and ketchup on it. And every once in a while I got a slice of bread with it, But that was the first time I
But you said it didn't make it to the bread. What's up? What'd you do?
It did. It did and it didn't. It was the bread. The bread was the bread was a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like
it sliced bread.
It wasn't because of the bread. No, it was because of us. We were fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the bread. It was us. Man. We were the problem. We got a lopsided pan spilling oil into the fire. It's getting big. We're like trying to it was just a mess, bro. But either way, that was the first time. Now I did buy recently. I bought a cast iron, I bought like a deep dish, like a Dutch oven, I guess they call it.
Yeah,
I bought one of those. Before, I bought a bunch of cast irons, and my buddy gave me this amazing grill for open pit fires, where it's like it interlocks, kind of like if you do your fingers. What's that game called? The spider web weave, whatever. But anyways, you interlock your fingers, like kind of like when you crack your knuckles.
Japanese.
Right? So imagine that's a grill, the way you interlock your knuckles together, both hands, right? The grill expands like this. So it's made of cast iron. Which is crazy.
Sweet.
Because you can literally pack it into a little backpack, take it with you, and then it expands into a bigger grill. So I was like, he's like, "You want it?" I'm like, "Yes, please,"
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm dying to use that. So we may need to do a little, maybe we do an episode out there or something. We'll film a little.
I would love to do that,
bro. TikTok or something, cooking steak over a fire, That's why we got the shock absorber. You're good. You should. Right. You guys at home that don't have video, you should have seen Marty's face.
Oh, I was like, what? Because I know when I hit my mic, man, I'm like, oh, don't hit your mic. Don't hit your mic.
It looked like he tasted. It looked like he tasted some strange food and just got robbed at the same time.
Exactly.
He was like,
I got robbed.
This is a shock.
Can I get my money back? Can I get my money back?
He broke something.
How are you doing that?
You break, you buy.
You bought this.
You break, you buy. Next week it'll be.
What are you trying to do?
Welcome back to the Specialty Chef Frank podcast. Marty owes me for a few episodes here, so he'll be back after he pays them off.
Oh, look, I gotta wash dishes on my podcast now.
Yeah, that would
Sorry.
Be great. What? See, that's the way to do it. We should all be like podcast hitchhiker style, We all just take over each other's cribs.
This is awesome. I love it. I love it because this is something this is my first podcast with a guest.
Cheers, man.
And I'm going to cheers with him. I'm going to hang out with him. We're going to have a good time. I thank him for doing this for me. And I'm going to keep this rolling because I think we got a little bit more time. I just want to go ahead and
We're hitting the 1 hour mark now. Right. We got plenty of play time, so rock out.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead and go off script here.
Oh boy.
Now, me and you knew each other for a while. And what do you think? And this is me just spitballing because I'm talking to another human being. And I think this is another human being question. What do you think about these prepackaged foods like, Blue Apron, stuff like that? I'm just going to throw that one out there because it's a common name.
So
wait.
To
find out.
Clarify real quick, because when you say prepackaged, are we talking like the ones where they make the whole meal ready to go all in one shot? Or are we talking just like prepackaged turkey separate from prepackaged potatoes?
They all come in different varieties. I've seen it all come like a TV dinner style, which is, banquet, TV dinners, that's what we had. Salisbury steak was the bomb, and and stuff like that. Don't get the chicken because if you let it go too long, it's gonna dry out.
You know what you need? You need a little button at your head, and it goes. Pro tip from Chef Marty: don't eat the chicken. You know what I mean?
Don't eat the chicken.
Like, if you get TV, don't eat the chicken.
Right.
Pro tip.
And you sit up there eating that Salisbury steak like it's really like real meat. Nah, come on, bro.
Yo,
come on.
Salisbury steak was hitting, man.
Exactly.
Stop playing.
Now, I'm just saying that now.
You got a little slice of bread in there, bro. You soak up that gravy. You put I would take like you always got mashed potato with it, right? And you always got corn with it, right? And if you were lucky, they gave you the little apple pie in the middle.
Right.
And it wasn't really apple pie, but it was like apple gel. I don't know what that was.
I don't know, but it was good. It was hot. He was like,
yep, you eat that first and your mom get mad at you, right? Why are you eating that first? What the hell's wrong with you?
It's mine. It was mine. I gotta eat it. What are you talking about? I want dessert first, okay? Dessert first. It's like the cherry and the fruit cocktail.
Man, those are good.
Those are freaking a fight. Yeah. Whoever got the cherry and the fruit cocktail, they did the bragging and got slapped around for bragging. I don't know. That's just something I saw. But anyhow.
What do you think? Let me ask you this real quick. What do you think of these guys on TikTok who take meals like that? Like the microwavable TV dinners, right? And they do this like, hey, chef, make me something gourmet out of this, and they basically have like, microwavable crap that they try to turn gourmet. And the guy blends it up and he frappes this and he turns it into, he's like, I made mousse out of McDonald's, milkshake, and I took their burger and I converted it into a, steak puree, and and he turns it into this thing that he would charge $90 a plate, at some new bowl in New York or whatever. What do you think of that kind of weird,
That ain't weird. You know what that is? That's creativity, because if you can know what your product can do and what you can extract from that product and what complements on what you already have. Because Gordon Ramsay, that freaking guy is amazing. This dude made juice out of beets right on the spot. I'm talking about less than a half an hour had a freaking meal, beat everybody. This dude, whoever goes up against this guy, you better bring your A+, 100. You better pray everything. This guy is phenomenal.
And he's an asshole.
He's got a gift. It doesn't matter. He's got a gift.
No, I love it. It's one of these like, fuck you, you suck.
He can do what he wants. He could back him. He could back himself up. But what I love about that it's an old type program that they revamped, because they did do that with other families, that they would go in their homes and
Which program
make food.
Are you talking about though? Here,
it was I can't.
A Gordon Ramsay?
No. It was a chef show or a cooking show that they would go in people's homes and actually make a meal on what they had in their refrigerator and their cupboards.
Like what you have is what we're gonna.
Right, something like what you're saying with the fast food and stuff like that.
Right.
Whatever they have that challenge with, it's all about what you can use.
That's like totally my style. That's totally my style. I literally just go for whatever I have on hand.
Exactly, but look, Frank. Listen. You
get me in the TV land here, and
I got you.
The shows, and it's like, ooh, I get like.
But check this out. We do it all the time. I think
we do it by nature, Because think about it like this, right?
Look.
Let's say you and I were traveling. Together, right? Me and you, we're trying to survive in the forest. We have to forage for whatever we can find. We can't be picky at that point, right?
No.
So maybe it's a human instinct thing. What do you think?
It's a human instinct to eat. It's a human instinct to feed yourself so you don't die, so you can keep yourself going. Sustenance is everything. Protein is everything. Whatever you can get to keep yourself going until you get out of your situation, because you may have to walk out of situations because nobody's going to save your ass because everybody don't know where you are. That is things that when I hear people say, I don't eat leftovers. Bullshit.
Wow, I know some people
bullshit.
Like that.
If it was down to it, you would eat leftovers, period. And I'm telling you,
it's
and
true.
I did this in my home. I did this in my home. Check this out. And I know you have done it too, because you're a dad. I took leftovers, redid it, put different seasoning on it, presented it everybody ate it like it was a brand new meal.
So
Am I right? Am I right?
So you
am I right? Am I right? Come on now. Come on. Help me out. Help me help you.
You were like,
come on.
Hey, everybody. This is, I know we had chicken a la whatever yesterday, but today we're having chicken boogalooga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. You pulled the, okay. You know, I've definitely taken leftovers and converted them into something that you couldn't tell was a leftover, you know, and maybe not told anyone these are leftovers just because sometimes, you know, you get people that respond that way.
Right.
Like that's a good point that you brought up, that with the leftovers thing, you said, oh, you know, there's people that won't eat leftovers. That's, I know someone like that, you know, I know someone who will not eat leftovers to the point when they lived in my neighborhood, they would bring me their food every night. And it was like, finally, I don't have to throw food away. And I'm like,
what's that
he's
about,
like, I used to be a chef, and we don't
about?
Believe in leftovers in my house, you know. And I was shocked. I'm like, you don't
like,
believe in leftovers, dog? Leftovers last 2-3 days in this house, man. We work it into 7 different meals.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. Why you going?
That's what it's all about. I'm all about the meal prep.
There it is. If you got it in your refrigerator, you're gonna redo it anyway. I did. Me and my wife made a pork roast the other day. You know, I cheated. Yeah, I cheated. Specialty Chef Marty
You
cheated. I bought a prepackaged pork loin that was already seasoned. Season was okay. Had to re-season. Okay. Anyhow,
I've done that. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You know why? Pork is one of the hardest animals to get right. You know, when you cook pork, it never tastes the same.
Right.
It's hard to keep it consistent.
Right.
It's hard to master the texture. It's hard to get it to have a proper flavor profile.
Right.
You know, it's just one of those animals that's really tough to work with, in my opinion.
They are, because if you season them and dry them out, you might as well throw it in the trash. You know, if you're angry, it's going to not taste good anyway, because you're just putting too much season of something that's just going to throw it off. You know, love is everything when you're cooking.
Yes.
Love is everything when you're cooking.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I said it, especially to Chef Marty. Love is everything when you're cooking, because if you ever hear me, nobody fights, nobody does anything out of the ordinary other than saying, God damn, who made this? God damn, who made this pie? God, you better. I even had a lady, I made zucchini bread one day. Check this out. Beautiful lady. I work with her. I work with her. I made her a zucchini bread. I made her an 8x8 loaf, all to herself. They tasted it. She said she didn't see it the rest of the day. Come on. I got some talent now. I got some talent, but she got looted. You
got to be careful at them jobs.
But I got to go ahead and make her one special and take it to her personally.
You know, and while you're at
stuff like that.
You know, if you so inclined, you know, maybe I'll make some zucchini if you need it.
Exactly. Thank you. I got you.
So let me ask you this: when you do the zucchini bread, is it more like a banana bread or is it more like a traditional flour loaf?
No, it's more like a banana bread, because it's you're putting the actual pulp of the zucchini
that still sounds
in
good.
The mix.
So what do you get when you do the zucchini? Do you get like it should give it some moisture, I would imagine.
Of course, because you're gonna put butter and oil. I put oil in mine because oil brings out a little bit more moistness and gives you a little bit better crumb. Because the crumb is everything. Because if you can take a piece of the bread and actually sop up the crumb with the bread, delicious.
Stop.
Delicious. Get you a cup of coffee, you out. You know what I'm saying? You're gone.
Cup of coffee and you out. Why did you?
You're done. You saying, oh my God. Then you start defending it. That dang Marty, freaking Marty.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, you just gentrified all of that Miami Cuban coffee area. You the one guy that has the zucchini bread, bro.
Oh,
gentrified, bro. Boom. You got what are the little cafecitos, bro? The little shots of espresso.
Oh yeah,
with the big tall ones, cream and sugar, and zucchini bread, bro. That's it. You locked the whole block down.
That's a wrap.
Because you'd have all the kids from Art Basel all the like hipsters. Oh my God, it's got zucchini bread. It's gonna be so delicious.
Love it. As long as I'm feeding you, making you happy, that's all that counts.
Yo.
That's what I'm all about.
If
that's
go.
when you're in my house, I'm going to feed you if you come over. So it's no problem. So, but the prepackaged thing, and I'm going to back to that because I'm not the thing again.
I'm just real against that kind of thing, man.
But listen. Now,
I'll tell you why.
Asking you this.
I'm going to tell you why. What? Now, I hate to be like, bombarding. I feel like I'm Humphrey Bogart over here, Bogart in the set. But that kind of food I grew up on. I was raised on it. I ate it every day of my life. Microwave this, can that.
So you were in a microwave era when your mom got a hold of a
Teflon, pans, microwave TV dinners. Yeah. Everything was in a can. Yeah. And I found out later in life that there was a time where things weren't in a can. And it was very recent. It was like literally after the 1800s was when we figured out canning, right? TV dinners were invented in the 50s, Teflon and all that applied. All of that stuff was in the 50s. This was all after we conquered Hitler and took all of his secrets, and robbed all of his paperwork and took all of his research that we started to come out with things like penicillin. Gotcha. And, so you go back and you do the history on it and you realize that even though I was raised on it and I have a lot of respect for it and I even love eating microwavable foods and some of that stuff I still have to this day and I will eat it. I'm not a pinnacle of health. I am so against it because to me it's space age food.
But I'm just saying that the packaged food that I'm looking at is like you have these meats that's already vacuum packed and you have
that's something else. You said Blue. Who is it?
I'm not saying, but I'm just all I'm talking.
Company that makes prepackaged food. Right. We won't give them any credit, but yes. But, unless they want to hit us up at Specialty Chef Marty Unfolded on Google Podcasts and YouTube. Available on TikTok as well as Insta somewhere.
I'll get back to you on where to ship it to. Okay?
He's everywhere. That's all that matters.
I get you on that. But I'm just.
So that's different.
I'm not beating him down. I just want to get another point of view, not because you have eaten.
Because I wasn't raised
TV
on
dinners.
Company,
but I'm not saying that this is another product that people are using, like they're getting delivered water and delivered Walmart and delivered, Publix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, is these foods cost efficient over time, other than the going out, selecting your meats, your vegetables, and other things. Yeah. And your flours and learning how to do preserving other things like pickled eggs or making your own sauerkraut or something like that. I mean, these are just things that I do.
Let me ask you
myself. I make my own. I make my own sauce.
You're a chef.
Yes.
Do you not appreciate when you go to the store and you buy an overabundance of cilantro and onion, and then you get home and you make a bunch of amazing meals and you're like, man, I'm glad I had a little extra because tomorrow I can make another meal. Or when you receive something from Blue Company, we won't mention here, or any other company, any competitor that's a prepackaged food product,
right,
that you receive only just the right amount for that one meal you're going to cook out of that packaging. So I found that like when I buy some of these things, I'm shorted. So, I'll put the onion and the peppers and all the seasonings in, but I don't have leftovers. And for someone like me, who I like to think of myself as a home cook, my father has a name. Shout out to Mr. Z Senior. He calls himself Chef Lefranc.
Hello,
okay,
Grandpa.
So I'm Chef Lefranc Jr. I like to think of myself as, someone who can cook okay to survive. Right. When I use these prepackaged things and there's nothing left over in the packaging, I get upset. So I don't know this company, Blue Apron, other than hearing their name, and maybe over the years I may have had something from them.
Okay.
And I said the name. Shout out to them. I don't know. Send us something. So me and the chef
love
here
the information
can go over and review it. We'll get my opinion, the crazy guy that don't know shit about it, and a chef.
Right.
What would be better than
just to because I'm like, the reason why I'm asking is because, they're saying that, now, mind you, when I cook for 4 because I had to scale it down from a family of 6 or 7, and I had to scale it down to a family of 4, which is amazing.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's really hard to
from my family. But they're saying that this is a way to not be in the kitchen and not slaving in the kitchen. But I'm like, wait a second. If you're getting raw meat and half done vegetables, you still gotta cook the meat, and that's still labor.
But
but
you know what I equate it to? You know what it is to me? It's like you paying for someone to mow your lawn. You know you can do it yourself. You got the equipment in the back, but you're like, you know what? I'm gonna just drop this $50 bill. Let this kid whip it out real quick because I got a podcast to record this weekend with Marty. You know what I mean? And we're gonna make cookies beforehand, have a couple brews, and we're gonna go in on the beginning of the cheese pizza and what the Romans did.
I have
wrong,
to. I have.
Did I just invent a whole episode? What the hell's wrong with me? I'm trying to book future shows over here. I'm like, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna call you. So we're gonna do that pizza episode.
I'm taking mental notes. We're gonna be talking about this later on.
The pizza episode.
We're gonna be talking about this later on. But anyhow, all I'm saying is that they're just bringing. Is that the way we're going today? Because they're taking the kitchen environment out of the picture. Because why? I was watching this one home improvement show, and they were making. They were building a kitchen, and I think it was the lady and the guy.
You're talking home improvements. That's
it's like Catch Her Upper or something like that.
That show is so funny, man.
Fixer Upper.
So funny.
Fixer Upper.
I can't think of what's the main
Nicole
actor's name?
and well, anyhow,
it's been a long
time since I've seen that show. But they were talking about. I think this was a show. I'm not for sure. Don't quote me on it. But they were talking about ass kitchen. Okay, how many asses fit in a kitchen? Okay, so if I go to my kitchen is small. So Specialty Chef Marty has a small kitchen. Yes, he does. But I make amazing things.
Those are the best ones.
And the environment I have. So I got one of those New York storefronts. You come in my front. You tell me what you want.
You have a cuchi frito.
Cuchi frito at my
house.
Get the hell out of here. At my house, man.
I need to go to the cuchi frito.
You come to my house and you'll be okay at my house. Cuchi frito at my house, okay? But
I'm pulling up.
Thank you. But it's just one of those things that makes you think about how we do what we do and how we associate ourselves with food and associate ourselves with the environment of having people at our homes that can actually fellowship and have a good time. That 7 asses can fit in a freaking kitchen. That's a good time. Ain't nobody bumping into nobody.
So is that the magic number?
I don't know.
7 asses in the kitchen?
7 asses in the kitchen.
Now that I think
somebody's going to throw a fart. But in your kitchen, I think you can get about maybe you can put about 4 or 5 in your kitchen.
I think 7's better because there might be a couple of cute ones there. You know what I mean?
But you got that island around yours as well, which is islands are awesome. Islands are awesome because everybody can have a stool and sit down and get some enjoyment and cook up some appetizers, have some fun.
It's more of a peninsula because it's attached on one end than an island. But yes, it is. It's very island-like. I think when I bought the house, they called it a breakfast bar.
Okay.
I think they said that's a breakfast bar.
That's the old school.
Perfect. It's like an L shape and attaches to the kitchen wall. And it's an L-shaped area where people can sit on one side. It's fucking best thing you could have for
still functional
because you have like people filling up the table. All the old people want to sit low,
right?
You got the kids on the couch watching TV. They got a breakout table over there,
right?
And then you have this little area where people can drink and eat and come in and out, or you can put food up there. It's just Like if I ever have any house in the future, I want that same thing. Bigger,
his setup is really nice because I came over here.
Thank you.
I came over here and everybody got served and he had all kinds of food laid out. Nobody bumped in one another. We had a good time. Everybody was stuffed. Everybody had no qualms, no nothing. Everybody's joking, stuff like that. Who wants to fight after they eat? Because if you fight after you eat, all you're going to do is throw up. So why you won't throw up all that good food?
We've had a good record. We've never had a fight.
Right.
We've never had any
nothing,
any
nothing
outbreaks
here,
or anything.
Nothing here.
Everybody always goes home with like extra food. We always send you home with plates,
all the time.
But that's how we do. We come from that culture.
The aluminum foil. That's the aluminum foil.
Yep.
Getting it going, getting it popping.
I would even get the stapler out. I take 2 paper plates, fill the paper plate, flip it, staple each side. There you go. Put it in a Winn-Dixie bag. Get out of here. We ran out of bags. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
That's right.
Snap it up. Whatever travels, that travels good and safe.
Our food travels good. I think Africans and Hispanics and the descendants of the islands and all that. I think we knew how to travel with food well.
Of course.
Because if you look at the Renaissance era, no disrespect to the Europeans, but they had to eat all that shit on the spot. It was like, a banquet now. We have 80 people here.
Well, they did have to, the less unfortunate, if you listen to one of my podcasts, the less unfortunate use bread, a silver coin, and coal to bring good fortune for the year upcoming around New Year's.
Bread?
Yes, they did.
What's the recipe again?
Slice of bread. A slice of bread, a silver coin, and coal to bring good fortune to the new year.
So do you put them, like when
they put it on the outside. They
put it on there.
They put it. I don't want to
put a little mayo to make everything stick.
They put it on
coin.
No, they put it on their doorstep. They put it on the doorstep.
Wow! So one more time because I got to try this.
They put it on the doorstep.
A slice of bread.
3 days. 3 days.
Silver coin has to be silver.
Silver coin
and
a slice of bread, silver coin, and coal. To bring good fortune to the new year. To the new year upcoming, like say. We do it for 2000.
Now, which New Year? The ones that like the Celtics believed in, the April New Year, or the one that the Anglo-Saxons believe in, January 1st?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I guess when London became like it's them. They're commerce. They're doing everything. They got the queen there, or the queen owns.
So that's Renaissance.
The queen owns everything, really. So it doesn't matter.
No, that's Renaissance. That's what. That's just a weird time for me because everything to me was like salted meats.
Yeah, when they were still throwing their shit and piss out on the street, shit like that,
Good times. Those were good times.
It's I don't know.
In the good old days, we used to throw our shit out on the street. You'd eat right next to your shit. It was all the same. That's how you know that era. That shit sucked. That's when if you say to me, I'm going to take you back to the Renaissance era. We have a time machine. I would be like, thank you. I would like to only spend 8 hours there and go home.
Give me 8 minutes and send me back because I
give me
a
taste and send me home. I don't know.
I don't think I want to smell Christmas pudding all day.
We have wild boar and Christmas pudding. All year long.
All year long. But it's just one of those. I mean, it's like evolved that how so many things can come from history that we use for worship and things for sustenance and things that we hunt because they are good animals to eat to the masses, stuff like fish and chicken and stuff like that. And if you heard my chicken episode, I'm fixing to learn on some chicken. I did a chicken episode. It's awesome. It's out now, so go ahead and check that out. It's
now, didn't you do one on? You did one on fowl, right? You did one on. So this would be a remix.
It's called the table fowl.
The table file.
The table file, and it's in
you
parentheses.
mentioned in that episode,
history to the table. History to the table.
Here's how you. Oh wow, I got all these notifications going off in here. Sorry,
it's all right.
We're busy around here. When I was listening to the episode, you mentioned the video on TikTok, and you said, and I'm watching this, and this is your words. I'm watching this video, and the lady bangs on her pan. And all of a sudden, there's hundreds of chickens coming out of the forest.
That is freaking incredible, bro.
Let me tell you, I saw that video.
You did? Wow. Nice.
Bro, when you were saying it, I was like,
thank you for watching.
I saw this video, and I'm listening to you tell the story, and I'm like, yo, he's right. There were hundreds of chickens coming out of the tops of trees.
Those are called red jungle fowl chickens. And they developed over time. Now, they probably were freaking this bird that no one never knew about, but it stayed in China.
Right. So it's probably because you know why? China. They have mountains there.
They have mountains.
So things hide in the mountains.
Right.
You never find them until, somebody stumbles on it. We have a whole flock of,
Their ancestor is the T-Rex.
Right. That was interesting too.
That was
you were talking about how the dinosaur, the T-Rex,
right?
Had involvement in the evolution of like the chicken or the table fowl. Yeah,
that's karma.
No, that's wild because like the modern day chicken doesn't fly. It's very small.
They fly. They soar.
It kind of like jump flies. It kind of hop hovers or whatever you want to call that.
Right.
In fear and danger, a chicken will be able to fly. When I saw that video on TikTok with that lady, she bangs on the pan like you said, and there's hundreds of chickens.
Crazy, wasn't it?
That was like,
it was crazy.
I was like, I couldn't believe those were chickens.
That was crazy, but that's how it was.
Mind blowing. Yeah, good episode.
Thank you
for sure.
But I just want to make sure that when you do look at when I say something, and if I see it, I want you to be able to go and actually witness it too, because I want to come through true. Because if I come through true, you'll follow me, and you know that I'm the real deal. So that's what it's all about, and I think that's what Specialty Chef Marty. I know I made that up. It sounds kind of corny, but it stuck with me, and I'm going to callous it off that because Unfolded would not be without that. You know what I'm saying? And I thank you so much for letting me use your lair for my podcast. We had a ball, laughing, joking, having lots of fun, talking about food, talking about other things, other topics. This was a ball. This was awesome. I couldn't ask for anything more. And I thank him so much for inviting me over. This is Specialty Chef Marty, and you can catch me on Specialty Chef Marty Unfolded on any of your podcast channels where you listen to your podcast. All you got to do is type me in, and I will pop up, okay? And I have plenty of episodes. So I'm making more episodes, and I'm getting better at it, and I'm getting more comfortable, and I'm just having a ball and just doing something that I love to do and something that I like to talk about. And I thank Frank so much for giving me his time and his beautiful studio to go ahead and do this.
This was a blessing, man. I'm so excited to have you, man, for real.
Thank you. And I'm just going to go ahead and let Frank say a few words, and I hope that, he invites me back to go ahead and do another one of these with him. And, and hopefully I'll be able to, do some positive things on his podcast, because he did his son's video. You got to check that out. If it's still playing, please, he'll go ahead and drop that down on the video too, so you can go ahead and check him out with those drones. He is beautiful. He's I can't say no more.
Stop! You're making me gush. You're making me gush, Marty.
I gotta hype him up.
Nah, we love you, brother. Your family, you've always been fam.
Thank you.
You're not a friend. You're family. You ever need anything, I'm here for you. Awesome. All of my family is. You help in the process of raising my kids. So. You are a father to my children as well, and that's a blessing to have you, man.
I appreciate that.
This was exciting. I was excited to have you here. I know You and I, we call each other accountability partners, you know. And, you know, when I hit you up, you didn't hesitate. You were like, I'll be there. It's not a problem. I'm on my way. You know, you always bring an exciting conversation. We always have a good time. We always laugh our asses off.
All the time.
And I tell you what, I learned a lot today, man. I really did.
Thank you.
I learned a lot about life. I learned a lot about food, you know. I learned a lot about moods and energy, you know. And you inspire me that way, and I appreciate you for that. I love you for that.
Appreciate you.
I'm Frankie Hovers. You could check me out at on YouTube at Flying Junkies.
There it is.
You can also find us at facebook.com/Flying Junkies or F Junkies Podcast. That's another one. Okay. Currently, I'm working with a little t-shirt company. I'm going to send you a couple of Flying Junkie shirts from them, but go check out my page. I would love to
wear them. I'm going to wear them on video.
I got you. I'm going to
wear them on video.
Just throw your sides down, and I got you.
I got extra large,
so
bro.
Flying
Extra
Junkies,
large.
Extra large. You put an order
extra
in. There
large,
it is.
There it is. Extra large.
I got you. Don't worry. It might come by Christmas, but don't worry. It's coming.
Oh, I don't care what it comes. I'm going to advertise it. When I do, I'm going to be like this. I'm popping.
Got to knock out your Christmas
Flying
present
Junkie
all at once. You know? But either way, yeah, check it out. It's flyingjunkies.threadless.com. I have a few logos up there, you know, if you're so inclined. And this was fun, man. Thank you for having me out. Special Chef Marty.
Thank you. Many
blessings, man. I hope you have me back, man.
Thank you so much for being my first guest on my show. When he came and told me about it, I was like, you playing. Don't play, because I'm gonna show up. I'm like black folk with chicken, you know.
I'm over here now.
I'm over here.
Yep.
I'm over here.
Hey, listen.
Come on, go with me.
Mi casa, su casa, as they say. You know what I'm saying? So,
thank you.
Anytime you want, man. This is fun. We need to do some more. I want to have you back on one of my podcasts as well. You know what I
appreciate the invite.
Please come bless me.
I will. I will. Let me know, and let's go ahead and bring that energy too. And I thank you again. And this is Specialty Chef Marty Unfolded with my boy Frankie from Flying Junkies. Check out his podcast. He brings a lot of experience and knowledge to that sport. Okay, so check me out. Love you guys. Love you guys for tuning in. Love you guys for just giving me just a little bit of your time to listen to two partners from a long time ago catch up and talk about food, health, wellness,
and knowledge of self.
Exactly. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. It's been a ball. It's been fun. Check us out. Always. If you know something about cooking, don't hesitate to teach another person on how to do it, because that's how we stop people from buying prepackaged food, so we can contribute our money to our markets on the people that grow our foods and grow our commerce to make us grow as a country. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.